So guys, in the previous lectures, yesterday we have discussed about Hylo analysis, right? Quantitative techniques. Hylo analysis is what we have discussed. So under Hylo analysis, what we'll do when we know the total cost of production for a given level of activities, for two given level of activities, we'll understand. We understand that the difference between the number of units gives you the number of units additionally produced and the uh, total cost that is incurred for the additional number of units. So the what do you call it? The variable cost per unit can be calculated as the difference in the total cost, that is increment in the total cost divided by increment in the number of units. Usually when there are multiple level of activities given, like if they are giving you a list of activities at each level, the total cost is given, then what you need to do is you need to find out the lowest activity level and the highest activity level and the respective cost, total cost at lowest activity, total cost at highest activity, and the variable cost per unit can be calculated as total cost at highest activity minus total cost at lowest activity divided by highest activity minus lowest activity. This will give you variable cost per unit. If you substitute that in either of the two total cost equations, then you will get the fixed cost per unit as a calculation, right? That's what we have covered in the previous session. Now moving on to the second topic in the quantitative analysis part, that is the next and final topic in this chapter, that is your learning curve analysis. Learning curve analysis. Now, what is this learning curve analysis all about? See, please understand that we are talking about a labor intensive factory. First of all, point number one is that we are talking about a labor intensive product or a process. That means our entire production process is majorly depending upon the labor. It's not automated as much. And now we all know that for a matter of fact, you know, if I ask you a very common sense point, if I ask you, suppose you started doing something for the first time, let's say we are all playing cricket for the first time, or else badminton or whatever some sport, chess, let's say chess. So the first game of chess that you play, you're not efficient in that, you're not expert in that. So it's going to take so much time for you to plan each and every move. But the more and more you keep playing the game, the faster your brain starts processing that, and the faster your brain starts understanding what could be the potential next move of the opponent, and accordingly, what would be my next move, what would be their next move. You know, I have seen people who can actually, in a span of less than a minute, they can analyze 20 moves of the opponent. What could be the potential next 20 moves of the opponent? There are some people who can do that. For me, maximum I can understand what could be the next 5 or 6 moves. That's all, maximum. More than that, no, I don't think I can do that. But yes, so it all comes with practice, right? So please understand, labor also work in the same manner. Labor, when you are giving them some production process to do for the first time, we are newly introducing a new product in our systems. So the first time when labor do that production activity, they are not efficient enough, they are not knowledgeable enough, they don't know what to do, how to do, when to do. But the more and more they keep doing that, yeah, the more and more they keep doing that, what happens is the faster they become, the more efficient they become. Okay, that is called as learning curve. That is called as your learning curve analysis. So Wright is the person who proposed this. So what he states is, please understand, this is just a theory. This is not a golden rule, or this is not an accurate science. This is just a theory proposed by an individual. There are certain flaws in that. There are lots of flaws in that. It's not always accurate, and it does not necessarily give you right answers all the time. I already told you at the beginning of this chapter itself, right? So what this person states is that, listen to me very carefully, this one line gives you the entire learning curve topic. Only this one line, if you understand, you understood the entire learning curve. So please pay attention to the line, what it is. The line states that basically every time the number of units, every time the number of units are doubled the cumulative average time per unit, we call it as CATPU, cumulative average time per unit, is a fixed percentage of the previous CATPU. Okay, so read it carefully, read it twice, read it thrice, read the sentence 2-3 times unless you understand the meaning of that. Okay, so every time the number of units are doubled, the cumulative average time per unit will be a fixed percentage of the previous cumulative average time per unit. So how exactly do I understand this statement? Okay, look at this, ma. See, for example, number of units and cumulative average time per unit I am giving you, and then we can calculate the total time. Unit time, or unit time won't be possible at this point. Okay, look at this. What should happen to the number of units, ma? Every time the number of units should be doubled. Okay, so let's start with that. 1, double of 1 is 2, double of 2 is 4, 4 into 2 is 8, 8 2s are 16. Okay, the number of units are doubled every time, ma. Okay, sir, accepted. Then what will happen? The cumulative average time per unit. Okay, first let's say the first unit in the production activity is taking, say, 20 minutes. Production of the first unit is taking 20 minutes. So the cumulative average time per unit is a fixed percentage of the previous cumulative average time. Let's say the fixed percentage in this case is 90%. Ma, this all will be given to you in the question. Okay, don't worry. Let's say the first unit is taking 20 minutes and the fixed rate is 90% is what they have mentioned. So 90% of 20 minutes is how much? 18 minutes. 90% of 18 minutes. 16.2. 14.58. 13.12. Okay, so what are this? This is the cumulative average time per unit, average time. So 1 unit into 20 minutes, total time taken is 20 minutes. 2 units into 18 minutes, 36 minutes it took for 2 units. Okay, 4 units into 16.2, 64.8 minutes. 8 into 14.58, 116.64 minutes. Then 16 into 13.122, that is 209.95 minutes. Okay, sir, we did all of this. Can you now understand? I mean, can you now explain us how do we need to understand this particular table? Now, very simple. See, cumulative average time per unit tells you the total average time per all the units together. For first unit, you took 20 minutes. For 2 units, you took 36 minutes. Essentially, for the second unit, you took how much time? From this table, can somebody tell me what is the time taken for the second unit? Only the second unit. Quickly, guys, in the chat section, what is the time taken for the second unit? No, already the guys done. 16 minutes. Very good. 16 minutes is the time taken. From 20 minutes for one unit, 36 minutes for two units. That means second unit alone has taken 16 minutes. But on an average for the first two units, average time becomes 18. Similarly, for the first four units, average time is 16. But understand here, if I'm talking about the third batch, if I'm considering these are batch wise, this will be batch 1, batch 2, batch 3, batch 4, batch 5. 5 batches of production are there. If I consider it like that, first batch, each unit took 20 minutes. Second batch, each unit took 16 minutes. Sir, how do you know 16 minutes? 36 minus 20 is 16 minutes. Third batch, how much time did each unit take? Can somebody tell me? Third batch, time taken per unit. For the third batch, from 2 units to 4 units, what is the time taken per unit? For third unit and fourth unit, what is the time taken, average time taken? That's what I'm asking. 14.4. How did you get that? Let's calculate. 64.8 is the total time for 4 units minus total time for 2 units is 36. That means 3 and 4 units together took 28.8 divided by 2 units, that is 14.4. Very good. Very good. Both of you got the right answer, ma. 2 answers I got from the students and both are right answers. Very good. Now what about batch 4? 116.64 minus 64.8 divided by this time from 4 to 8, 4 units. So that is 12.96. Sir, see what exactly is happening here. The more and more numbers they are producing, the time taking is getting reduced all the time. The average time is coming down. Cumulative average time is fine. Cumulative average time is considering from number 1 unit, but these are average time in batch. In that differential units, in the marginal units only, we are calculating average. If you see, this is coming down very fast. This is coming down, but this is slower. This is coming down very fast. See, this is average. This is average of that particular batch. This is total average, cumulative average time per unit, including the first batches. Okay, that's why this is a little bit slower. Now, sir, we understood the entire situation. Now, let me tell you some points. Then we'll do some questions and then we'll wind up this topic. One question only I'll do. I'll not do much questions in this particular area. Now, you need to understand the fact that the fixed percentage at which this particular production process is coming down, the cumulative average time per unit in the production process is coming down at a fixed rate, 90%. This, my dear friends, is called as your learning rate. This 90% is called as your learning rate. Now let me ask you some question, guys. Very important question. Think logically and tell me, is a learning rate of 90% better or is the learning rate of 60% better? Think very carefully before answering. Don't just give a random answer. Think carefully before answering. Is a learning rate of 90% better or is a learning rate of 60% better? $60. Swarna says 60, okay? Good. Sir, a learning rate of 60 is much better than a learning rate of 90. Sir, why, sir? How is that possible? Isn't 90 a bigger number than 60? No, my dear friends, please understand. If your learning rate is 90, second unit is going to take 18 minutes. 20 into 90 is 18. If your learning rate is 60%, then 20 into 60% will take only 12 minutes, which is much faster. Yes, very good. 12 minutes. So it takes lesser time if the learning rate is lower. Okay, please understand, this is not the efficiency rate. This is not the efficiency rate. To be very honest, if a learning rate is 90%, efficiency has increased by 10% only. See, from 20, it became 19. That means 10% increment is there in the efficiency level. 2 minutes it reduced na 10%. If a learning rate is 60, efficiency has increased by 40%. That is how you should understand, ma. Okay. Chalo, very good. Now let me ask you something. So do you think it is possible that labor will learn forever? This cumulative average time per unit will always come down. Like for 16 units, it's 13. For 32 units, it becomes something like maybe 12 or something. For 64 units, for 128, 256, 512, 1024, 2048. After a point, what will happen, ma? Your labor will already reach the efficiency point. Your labor will reach an efficiency point. They'll reach a point where they cannot do it much faster than that. They are already at the peak stage. They are perfect in it already. Now there is no more learning analysis as such. They learned everything that is possible in the production process. They are at their peaks. Now that is where your learning rate will stop. So if I put it as a graph, okay, if I put it as a graph, I'll take number of units here. Number of units on the x-axis and time taken on the y-axis. So first unit takes more time, sir. As you are keeping on producing, what will happen? The average time per unit will come down, come down, come down, come down. But once it will reach a point where there is no more chance of learning. So that from that point, it just goes parallel to the x-axis. That's all. Nothing nothing more than that. Okay. This is a point where your learning curve analysis would stop, ma. Clear? The point where your learning curve analysis or learning curve effect would stop. Now, just a very quick logic for you guys to understand. If I want to calculate, please pay high attention to this point, otherwise you will not understand this point. In this particular example, if I ask you what is the time taken for 15th unit, can you tell or not? Time taken for 15th unit, can you tell or not? I'm not asking average time. What is the time taken for the 15th unit exactly? Not average unit time from 8 to 16. 8 to 16 you can calculate, but not exactly the 15th unit. Okay, so for that you need to understand time taken per nth unit, any number, rational number n, using the formula. Yes, that's the different story. That's what I'm trying to tell you. But before trying to tell you the formula, I'm telling you the logical explanation. Time taken for any given unit, nth unit, can be calculated as total time of n units minus total time of n minus 1 units. So what do you mean by this? Now simple. If you want to know the time of 15th unit, total time for 15 units minus total time for 14 units. That will give me the 15th unit time alone, right? Is that clear, guys? Okay. So if this is clear, then we are done with this particular topic. The only thing left is to understand how to calculate your cumulative average time per unit for units other than doubling situation. See, if the number of units are doubling 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, 128, 256, 512, 1024, then that's fine. We can calculate by using this table. 20 into 90% into 90% into 90% into 90%. What if we want to know the cumulative average time per unit for 50 units, 50 units? I cannot. 16, 32, 64. What? How do I know the 50 units cumulative average time per unit? So for that, there is this particular formula, which is nothing but a derivation of the normal sense only. But the thing is that we use logarithms to understand that. I know some of you don't even remember logarithms, so don't worry. Just this formula will be given to you in the exam hall also, so you don't need to worry. So how do we calculate cumulative average time per unit, sir? Cumulative average time per unit can be calculated as y is equal to a into x raised to the power of b. Okay, sir, what is y, what is a, what is x, what is b? Okay, y is the cumulative average time per unit for x units. That means x is the number of units. A is the time taken for the first unit. Time taken for first unit. Sir, simple only na. First unit takes 20 minutes. X power b is the learning factor, that is 90%. Okay, but then what is x power b, sir? X is the number of units, we understood. What is power b? What is b here? That is the tricky part in this particular formula, ma. So b is nothing but your logarithmic value. Okay, b is nothing but logarithm of learning rate divided by log 2. Okay, log learning rate by log 2. Sir, logarithms we don't remember. You don't need to remember. Excel will do the calculation for you. You are doing a computer based examination, so don't worry, ma. Previously, when it was paper based exam, they used to give you the logarithmic values, log LR value and log 2 value. They used to give you in the question. Now you need to calculate using Excel. As simple as that. So you don't need to worry at all. Okay, so let me show you how to do that in Excel, sir. Very easy, nothing to worry. Chalo. If I'm taking the same scenario, if this is the scenario taken, so from this, tell me what is a. Time taken for the first unit is 20 minutes. What is LR? 90%. Then what is x in this case? I want to know the time taken for 50 units, cumulative average time for the 50 units. Okay, so by using this, we'll calculate the y value. Y is calculated as what? A into x raised to the power of b. So please understand, this is raised to the power of symbol. Okay, x raised to the power of, this is symbol. So you can use shift 6 in your keyboards. Shift 6. Okay, what is a in this case? 20 units. Sorry, 20 minutes into x. We need to know the time taken for 50 units raised to the power of, this is the trickiest part, ma, log LR by log 2. So log LR is 90% divided by log 2. Please put this thing in bracket, ma. This is the entire value. Log LR by log 2 is a single value, so put that in brackets. Log LR by log 2 is a single value, so put it in brackets. What is happening? Array, log LR by log 2. Enter. So see here, cumulative average time for 50 units is 11.0352 ma. So total time for 50 units will be 50 into 11.0352. That will take 551.76 minutes. Suppose if I want to know the time taken exactly for the 50th unit, sir, this is cumulative time. Please be very careful, ma. For the total 50 units, on an average, each unit is taking 11. Does not mean exactly 50th unit took 11 minutes. First unit took 20 minutes, na? Okay, so if I want to know the cumulative time taken for exactly the 50th unit, how do I do that? Cat Q of 49 units I have to calculate, ma. How do I calculate that? A, that is 20 into x 49 raised to the power of log LR 90% by log 2. Okay, 11 point something I'm getting into 49. Okay, that is 551. 42. So time taken by the 50th unit exactly is calculated as 9.37 minutes. Is that clear, guys? Is the calculation part clear? Everybody understood this? Yes or no? Good. Others also confirm? Guys, others also confirm, ma? Two other people, na? Okay, cool. Chalo. So this gives us the learning rate analysis, ma. So now let's move further and let's do a question and then we'll wind up this topic. Sir, I already told you after a point of time your learning rate will stop, ma. Your learning rate will cease. See, it goes parallel to the x-axis. Now, when will learning curve analysis work out, sir? These are also examples I told you at the beginning. The process should be labor intensive. It should be a new product. That is when the learning curve starts. The product should be complex. If it is very easy, first time itself, people will understand how to do that. So unless it is complex, it doesn't take much time, right? Production is repetitive and there are no breaks, then only na people will start learning. If you doing it once in a while, like first game of chess I played in first month, sir, after 2-3 months I started playing in another game again, I'll have to start from zero because I don't remember what I have done in the 2-3 months back. So it has to be a continuous process, then only learning curve will work. Common sense points, man, nothing more than that. In this case, y is equal to x power b. The simple question, nothing much in this to do. First unit is taking 100 hours, that is A. 80% is the learning rate, that is R. Average time per unit for the first 16 units, they're asking you to calculate CA2PU for 16 units, then CA2PU for 25 units, y is equal to x power b. Time taken for 20th unit, so y is equal to x power b for 20, y is equal to x power b for 19. So 20 total time minus 19 total time, you will get the 20th unit time, correct? Very simple, man. Nothing much in this to do. Here they're talking about batches of production instead of units of production. Don't worry, it's just 72 batches. You don't need to consider the number of units in each batch. Just batch wise learning curve will start. Again, 1, 2, 4, 8. They directly gave you 20, 17.2, 14.79 to 12.72. They're asking you to calculate the learning curve rate. They gave you the doubling unit. So I don't need to do anything. I can directly understand what is the percentage. 17.2 divided by 20. 17.2 divided by 20 into 100, 86 percentage. 86 percentage is the learning rate in this particular case. Is it 86%? Let's check with the last units also. 12.72 divided by 14.792. 85.99. Yeah, 86% it is. Good. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. Cool. Let's do one question from this. Yeah, this looks like a good enough question. A Swiss watchmaking company wishes to determine the minimum price it should charge to a customer for a special order of watches. The customer has recorded a quotation for 10 watches, that is only one batch, but might subsequently place an order for another 10 units. Material costs are 30 per watch. It is estimated that the first batch will take 100 hours to manufacture. 80% learning curve is expected to apply. Labor plus variable overhead costs amount to $3 per unit. Setup costs are 1,000 regardless of the number of watches made. What is the minimum price the company should quote for the initial order if there is no guarantee of the further order? Okay, so very easy to calculate. They are asking for 10 watches. Material cost is $30 per watch. First batch will take 100 hours. 10 watches will take 100 hours. So each watch is going to take approximately 10 hours on an average. Variable overheads are $3 per hour. Variable plus labor plus variable is $3 per hour. Each watch is going to take 10 hours. So 3 into 10, $30 plus material cost is $30. So $60 is the variable cost. And they're also going to incur $1,000 for the setup cost for 10 watches. Each watch is 100. 100 plus 60. 160 should be the minimum price for first 10 watches. Sir, is that clear? Your brain should work fast. Your brain should work fast at this point of time. How many of you understood that $160 calculation? Material is going to take 30. 10 watches, 100 hours. Each watch is 10 hours. Labor plus variable cost is $3 per hour. 10 into 3, $30. 30 plus 30, 60. Setup costs are 1000. And you are going to produce 10 units. That means each unit $100. 100 plus 60, 160. Clear? Yes, okay. Look at what they're asking you next. If the company was then to receive the following on order, what would be the minimum price of this order be? So they're telling you first you received the order for 10 units, then another 10 units they have ordered. Okay. Sir, second time you don't incur the setup cost. Na? They told you regardless of the number of watches, setup cost is only 1000. Already you set up the machinery. So second time setup cost won't be there. So for the subsequent order, material cost will still be $30 per unit, but number of hours is going to come down. Sir, why? Because they told you 80% learning curve is expected to apply. So for the second batch, you are not going to take 100 hours, you are going to take only 80 hours. 100 into 80%, 80 hours. So 8 hours into $3, 24 plus 30, 54 would be the price for the second batch of units. This 1000 is already absorbed. You don't need to do anything. Only $54 will be the cost per unit for the second batch. Minimum cost, maximum cost. Yeah. Test your understanding, 9. Let's see the answers. 160 for the first unit. Follow on order. Okay. Why are they doing this? Production increases to 20. Number of batches. Achha. 160 hours. Huh? Oh, cumulative average time. I directly took into 80%. Sorry. Total I should have done. Okay, cool. Sorry, my mistake. Cumulative average time will cut down to 80%. So for total 20 watches, for 2 batches, it's gonna be 100 plus 80, that is 160. So additional hours are only 60. Guys, are you able to understand this calculation? I'm directly doing it without putting pen on paper. First batch took 100. Total 2 batches, cumulative average time has reduced to 80. So 2 batches into 80, 160 hours. First batch took 100. So second batch takes only 60 additional hours. 60 into $3, that is 180. 180 divided by 10 units, $18 per unit plus 30 material cost. So 48 would be the total cost. Sorry for that. 48 would be the total cost. Yeah, minimum price would become 48. Okay. Next, they are asking you if both the batches are ordered at once. Together, if they are ordering, material would be 20 watches into 30. Labor time would be 160 hours, which we just calculated. Can you repeat it again? Okay. Now see, first batch took 100 hours. They told you learning rate of 80% is given. That means the second batch, cumulative average time will be 80% of the first batch time. First batch took 100. Cumulative average time per unit for the second batch will become, for the total 2 batches will become 80. So 80 into 2 batches, 160 hours. First batch took 100 hours, so second batch will take 60 hours. Then only average will become 80. Na? Got it? Okay. Then they're asking you to do it together, ma. So total 160 hours into $3. Setup cost is 1000. Total is 2080 divided by 20 units. 104 will be the minimum price. Or else you can also directly calculate the average of this two, ma. 160 plus 48 by 2. 208 divided by 2, 104. See, 104. Okay. Then they're asking you something related to the learning curve. Let's do that and wind up this session. This chapter will be completed with that. Okay. See, having completed the initial order for the first 20 watches priced at the minimum levels recommended in A and B, the company that they would be ready to market for this there would be a ready market for this type of watch if it is bought the unit selling price down to 45. Okay, they want to sell it for 45. At this price, what would be the profit on the first 140 mass production watches after the first 20 watches, assuming the marketing cost totaled for $250? Very, very nice question. Must see what they're telling you. First two batches, first 10 units are sold at what? $160. Second 10 units are sold at $48. Already done. Then next 140 units are being produced. Okay, let's go to Excel. Okay, sir. See, first batch is 10 units. Second batch is also another 10 units. Now they are producing 140 extra units, ma. Okay, agreed, sir. See, if I'm doing it on a table, 10 number of units. First batch is 10, doubled 20, then doubled 40, doubled 80, doubled 160. Okay, so this works. See, I don't need to actually do y is equal to ax power b wala formula. Ma. I can directly draw it using the table because total is 160 only. First we produce 10, then we produce 10, then we are asking 140. So total 160 units only. I can directly calculate it. So this is number of units and the cumulative average time per unit will be fixed percentage. First batch took 100 hours. I have to do it on number of batches, right? 1, 2, 4, 8, 16. Okay. First batch took 100 hours. Second batch would cumulative average time would be 80% of that, 80% of that, 80% of that, 80% of that. So total time 1 into 100, 160, 256, 409, 655. Then number of units. Do I need number of units? I don't think I need number of units. So total time taken is 655. So what is the time taken for the first two batches? 160. Total time for 160 units is 655. Okay. Time for 140 units will be 655.36 minus 160 units for the first two 160 minutes for the first two batches. Hours, hours. Okay. So 495.36. So each hour is going to take $3. So total labor and overheads cost is 1486. Okay. Then material cost is 140 units into $3 each. Material cost is $30 each. Correct? $30 only na material cost. Yeah, $30 material cost, and the variable overheads is $3 per hour. Okay. And this cost I am already recurring from the first two units, so I'm going to ignore that. So total is 5686